Okay, I need members of my faith community to lock in right now because there is a growing movement that way too many of you in the US are getting caught up in. And you need to understand what this movement is. Not only because it fundamentally opposes America's founding purpose, but also it opposes what our church teaches about religious freedom. So on Sunday, May 17th, thousands of people gathered on the National Mall for an event called Rededicate 250, a prayer fest as part of the commemoration of America's 250th birthday. It included speeches from the Trump administration along with worship music, prayers from religious leaders. But of the 19 religious leaders participating, only one was Jewish. There were a couple of conservative Catholics, but otherwise it was mostly dominated by evangelical Protestants. There were no Lutherans, Methodists, Muslims, Mormons, Buddhists, Episcopalians, Hindus, Presbyterians, or anything else. So despite being billed as an event for all Americans, it was intentionally exclusive, only highlighting the faith leaders and denominations who support the Trump administration. If you haven't guessed, I'm talking about the Christian nationalist movement, which is not new, but has picked up considerable steam under Trump. Not because he's particularly religious, that much is clear and obvious. I mean, he went golfing on Sunday rather than even attend the event, but because he has developed a transactional relationship with certain conservative Christian groups. They give him his vote, he gives them political power, which they can then use to legislate their religious beliefs into law. The fusing of conservative Christianity with this administration cannot be ignored anymore. From crosses and Christian praise music at the Capitol on January 6th, to Pete Hegseth invoking God's will to justify American military power, to Trump posting himself as Jesus on social media, there is no separation of faith and politics anymore for the diehard MAGA Christian nationalist adherents. And at this point, you might be thinking, what's the problem? Shouldn't we want our political leaders to love God and country? What's wrong with being a Christian nationalist? And that is what is so deceptive and enticing about it, because it takes something good and perverts it for political gain. It takes religious and patriotic language and symbols that any good Christian worth their salt should support and attaches it to political power. Because what good Christian wouldn't get on board with a politician who says they're for faith, freedom, family values? This language is used specifically to appeal to people of faith, to gain their loyalty, and it's used to legitimize whatever political action is then taken in the name of this righteous cause. And it makes it very difficult to oppose because it's not framed as a political difference then. You're opposed to God, religion, family, and all things good and holy if you don't support this. Christian nationalism is basically a cover for the oldest sins in the book: power, dominance, and of course money. If you want to get really freaked out, Google the 7 Mountain Mandate, which many people in Trump's administration support. In short, it's a belief that the members of a particular Christian dominionist ideology are commissioned by God to conquer and influence 7 specific spheres of society to usher in the kingdom of God. And the most powerful of those is, of course, the political sphere. And there's just too much for 3 minutes, so come back for part 2.